This program is presented by Goodyear. One revolution ahead.
It's about power, speed, and control. From the mountains of Japan to the urban tracks of the USA, and now to the city-state of Singapore, Formula Drift comes to Asia for the first time. Sit back as we bring you the fastest-growing motorsport on the planet. The Changi Exhibition Centre, Singapore, was at the forefront of history recently as it played host to the biggest drift competition in Asia. Over 11,000 motorsport fans packed the customised track to witness Formula Drift's first venture into the region. Drift stars from throughout Asia Pacific and North America were on hand, not only to sign autographs, but to explain the art of drifting.
In its core essence, drifting is really kind of like a car control or a car ballet. In most motorsports, the idea is to get from point A to point B as fast as you possibly can. Speed is definitely a factor within drifting, but it's only one of many of the different elements that go into it. We take cars and drive them near the edge of control, sliding them, at speeds near 100 miles per hour depending on the course, and it's actually a subjective sport, so we have judges who are judging the drivers as they're going through the course on specific criteria. It's kind of a mix between traditional motorsports and like an action sports, for example, where you have that subjective judging element in that. Clipping zones are very, they're kind of integrated also into general motorsports. Each track has different clipping points that drivers use as targets to get their car as close as they possibly can so they can go through the course as quickly as possible. Well, in drifting, we use those as targets for the drivers to get as close in proximity to those clipping points, because that's what the judges are looking for. They're looking for them to get as close as possible without hitting them or hitting a wall, and then the judges can use that and integrate that into their scoring.
Drift competitions are judged by 4 criteria: speed, line, angle, and overall impact. Speed is a combination of the entry pace to the first corner and the entire course. Line is how well a driver attacks the judge's racing line. Angle is what position the driver can maintain his car at throughout the course. Impact is the overall feel of the driver's pass. Drifting began in Japan over a decade ago, but the progress has been startling. The pro drivers are now so popular they enjoy celebrity status. In the US, drifting was seen as an underground sport, little more than a sideshow with amateur participation. Pro Japanese drivers would attend meets only to demonstrate their drift style. But the ad hoc nature of the American Drift organization was to change in the spring of 2003.
My partner Ryan and I, we started a marketing company 5.5 years ago, and we were picking up different projects, and so we had an opportunity to bring the Japanese series to the U.S. in 2003. It was a huge success, and from there we wanted to grow drifting in the United States.
From that point, that's where Formula Drift was kind of created. The Japanese series didn't want to do anything else in the United States. We saw that there was an opportunity to do something there. We felt the drivers were good enough to support a national circuit, and then so Formula Drift basically was born the following year. First started out, it was the sport was kind of perceived as guys driving crazy, around tracks and things like that. And as the audience has become more educated and the sport itself has become more exposed through TV and different media outlets, it's definitely really kind of grasped, especially where we are in the United States, and really picked up in popularity. So it's been a steady increase every single year.
The explosion in Formula Drift has seen them look at different territories to expand into. Step forward Binta, a Singapore company responsible for the distribution of premium tyre brands. Their knowledge of the Asian market and their contacts with the tyre companies made them an ideal partner for the Formula Drift guys.
Expanding outside the U.S., we need to find a right partner to partner with that understand the marketplace. We can't assume that we know how to go outside the United States and go to different parts of the world and say we know how to market, how to speak to the audience there. And so having been here as a partner here and knowing the marketplace and knowing the region, it was perfect timing for us to kind of step outside of the boundaries.
We have a contract with Formula Drift USA, and the contract is actually for Singapore, Malaysia, and Hong Kong. What we want to do is be able to bring that race, like what you see here in Singapore today, to Hong Kong and Malaysia, eventually have a World Series of drifting that involves all regions, from Australia, New Zealand, all the way to Asia, up to USA and Japan. And so that will truly make us a global motorsport.
Although a bona fide competition, this edition of the tournament is not part of the Formula Drift Pro circuit. Not that the thousands of fans seem to mind. Judging by the enthusiasm generated by the inaugural Formula Drift Singapore, a place on the tour is a possibility.
Well, coming in, we were already really excited about the event. We knew that the enthusiasm was here in the region. We just wanted to put on a great show, but I think it's just been phenomenal that, we're pretty much sold out the place. We're at capacity. There's drivers and there's fans from all over the region. There's media from all over the region. So I think this is it's an unprecedented event, and it's setting history and making the mark how Formula Drift is going to expand in Asia.
Each drift course is different, and drivers are awarded points based on how accurately they can follow a line specified by the judges. There are 5 main points of interest on the track. The drift start point. Drivers are judged on their speed when entering this zone for their drift. The rear clipping zone. Drivers have to get as close as they can to the clipping point. The first or the front clipping zone. Drivers have to maintain their speed and drift whilst turning. The second of the front clipping zone is considered one of the most difficult and calls for excellent control. The final clipping zone is the last opportunity for the drivers to impress the judges. After the break, we get into the action. The preliminary rounds of the regional qualifiers begin with 35 cars trying to make it into the Sweet 16.